Hi guys, and happy Valentine's Day. To celebrate, I wanted to talk about how Mitch and I first met and started dating. So we technically met almost 10 years ago. We both did the same school program where we did 2 years of undergraduate school and then 4 years in our actual program. So we both had to interview for our program when we were still in high school. So we technically met when we were still in high school. And it was during our interview process, it was a group interview. And I specifically remember him because I remember thinking to myself, this is the guy, this is the person that I have to beat in order to get accepted. And thankfully we both got accepted, so it did turn out. So fast forward to our second year of undergraduate, where we actually met person to person and introduced ourselves. So we were both in the same anatomy class and we had a lab portion. So the first day before lab, being the nerd that I am, I get there nice and early. And I guess Mitch is also a nerd because he also got there nice and early. And there's another couple of people who were there pretty early with us. And we were all just kind of talking, and I'm not sure at what point we figured out that we were actually in the same program. But you got to pick your lab partner, and I ended up not picking him. I went with some other guy. I don't know why, I just did. But we were in the same lab class, and apparently, according to Mitch, I used to come up to him all the time and ask him questions and like, oh, is this the right answer? And what answer did you get for this? And I remember doing that like maybe 2 or 3 times, but apparently according to him, I did it constantly. We also had the same organic chemistry class together, so we did have workshop and we were partnered up once for that during workshop. But again, it was kind of like we were just like acquaintances, like we were very cordial and polite towards each other, but we weren't friends. We weren't really focusing on becoming friends or anything like that. It was just, you're my classmate. And we knew that we were going to be in the same 4-year graduate school program. So it was kind of like, okay, I'll see you then. So then fast forward to our first year of our graduate school program, and we started to actually become friends. We had a lot of the same friends kind of in the same circle at school, so we just kind of started hanging out more and more. I wasn't really interested in him right away. I was kind of dating a couple other guys. So it wasn't until really the second half of the school year that I started being like, he's kind of cute, he's kind of funny, I kind of like him. So started flirting a little bit more, and just kind of like we were hanging out more, mostly with our friends. It was never really one-on-one. It was definitely, so his birthday's in April, and I definitely knew by his birthday that I liked him. And for his birthday, we ended up going out to lunch, and like he sat next to me, and it was such a big deal because, oh, the boy that I like is sitting next to me. And I think after lunch we had to go back to school, and I think I ended up riding back with him because like when you like someone, any chance that you can get to kind of like sit next to them and, oh, like, can you drive me back to school? Like, so nice. So, like I would do stuff like that because I wasn't sure if he liked me or not. At this point, we were just friends. So, I was definitely flirting a lot, or trying to. I don't know how good of a flirt I actually am. So the end of the year was coming up, and I was kind of sure that he liked me, but not really like 100%. But I wanted to make sure that he at least knew that I liked him. That way, if he liked me back, then he could ask me out, and then all would be great. So we had this whole big plan figured out between my friends and me, where at the end of the year there was actually a event given by the school where they were giving discounted tickets to a baseball game. So we were like, oh, let's go, it'll be fun. So the plan was that we would go all together as a group, and then my friends would be like, oh, we're gonna go grab some beer or food or whatever, and then they would just leave us alone to like talk. And that's pretty much what happened. Is they got up, they left, we were just sitting by ourselves, just kind of talking and kind of getting to know each other a little bit more, talking about our interests, me trying to flirt. Remember if he was flirting back or not, but I'm assuming he was, because I think at that point he liked me. So that went pretty well, and that's kind of like the whole catalyst, I want to say, for how it's like, okay, hey, I like you. Do you like me back? So then it was, he didn't really do anything after that, and you know, it was still just back to school. So it's finals week, it's the end of the school year, and he hasn't asked me out yet or anything. Like, we made plans to see each other. We were gonna go to Six Flags like a week after school got out, but after that it was kind of like, well, if you don't ask me out, then we might just not see each other for the entire summer, and that wouldn't really be fun. So Monday was our first final together. It was for an elective, and I'm a really fast test taker, so I kind of just zip through it really quick. I'm not the type of person who likes going and like rechecking my answers. So I get up, I leave the testing room, then I sit outside and wait for him. He finishes up not that much later than me, and then comes out, and we're kind of talking about the test and how it went. And then he's like, oh, hey, do you want to go get some Potbellies? It's like, sure, of course. So we got Potbellies, just kind of, it was casual, talked about the test and like all of our finals that were still coming up, and you know, it was left on pretty good terms. Then on, I feel like it was Wednesday of finals week, we got done with one of our finals, and then I went home, and I think he was working out at the school gym. But by the time that I got home, literally as I was parking my car and coming inside my house, I got a phone call, and it was from him. He asked me, hey, do you want to go out for lunch together? So I was like, oh, of course, sure, even though like I literally just got home and we still had finals to study for, but you know, it's lunch. And it's lunch with the guy that I like. So I was like, oh yeah, of course, sure, let's go. So we went out, we got lunch together. It was a nicer restaurant, so it wasn't quite at the Potbellies level, but still not technically a date. It was still like, oh, let's just hang out. So we had lunch, and then it was a really, really pretty day. It was really sunny, it was really nice, I remember that. And we ended up sitting outside the restaurant and just talking about things that we love. We're both huge Disney nerds. We were talking about Disney. So at this point, he still hasn't asked me out officially, and we only have 2 days left of finals before summer starts. So Thursday comes around, nothing happens. By Friday, I'm thinking to myself, okay, if he doesn't ask me today, then that's kind of it. Like, he must just not like me. Like, I think that he likes me. At least that's what I'm thinking. So I get out of Friday's final first, because again, I'm a fast test taker. And I'm like, I'm just gonna sit here outside the testing center and I'm just gonna wait for him. So he takes his time with his tests, and then I'm just sitting there waiting. And then he comes out and we talk a little bit, like, oh, how'd the test go, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, oh, hey, can I talk to you, or can I ask you something? And I was like, yes, okay, this is it, finally. So he did actually end up asking me out on a date. Our first date was very nice. He took me out to a nice dinner. We ended up talking like for hours. We went to the park that's close to my house, and it got to the point where like the park closed and a police officer was driving by and was like, hey, the park's closed, you guys gotta get out of here. So it was a really nice date, and you know, yeah. So we've been together now for almost 6 years, and we're kind of talking about getting engaged and getting married and getting a house together. So there's a lot of exciting things coming up for us. So to you, Mitch, I love you. I love you, but really though, you're my favorite person, my favorite adventure. Happy Valentine's Day.